Trump has announced the Department of Government Efficiency with Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy. Hi everyone, my name is Christopher Balkaran. I'm the host of the Open Minds show right here on YouTube, and I'm trying to inject a level of moderation back into our discourse today, trying to look at things from both the right and the left and finding common ground where possible. So if you're liking my content, definitely hit that like button, subscribe, share, tell all your friends. Again, please subscribe to the Open Minds live show. So this is interesting. Trump states that he's pleased to announce that the great Elon Musk, working in conjunction with Vivek Ramaswamy, will lead the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE. Together, these two wonderful Americans will pave the way for my administration to, quote, dismantle government bureaucracy / excess regulations, cut wasteful expenditures, and restructure federal agencies, essential to the Save America movement. This will send shockwaves through the system and anyone involved in government waste, which is a lot of people, stated Mr. Musk. Now, folks, I'm all on board with the idea of looking into government waste. After all, it is taxpayer money, and certainly the bureaucracy is probably very bloated. Agencies and departments being created over time to regulate or to oversee various segments of the economy based on political will. It naturally lends itself to culling in or bringing people together. But I'm a bit skeptical about DOGE for a few reasons. Number one, we may actually see a reduction in federal workers over the next few years, just simply because of retirement numbers. Baby boomers are at that age, if not past that age of retirement. And perhaps over the next few years, we're going to see a lot of retirees. And you factor in a new administration and those that have been more accustomed to Democrats or those that are Democrat by nature, they may be less reluctant to wait out a few more years and transitioning a new government, especially with DOGE. So they may actually choose an early retirement package or just retire based on their life savings. So we may actually see that there is a large amount of federal service workers that are leaving the federal service, not necessarily because of DOGE. The second piece is, when it comes to conservatives and Republicans, we don't like bloated bureaucracies, but we're also a stickler for national defense. And I wouldn't be surprised if, while we see a reduction in federal service workers, we see a boost in national defense spending. And as a result, we'll see departments of defense and others go up. As well, associated with that, I can imagine there's probably going to be a ton of military contracts. You're going to need bureaucrats to oversee those contracts, to do the request for proposals and all the kind of business associated with managing those contracts. So I can see how governments may shift the bureaucracy from one area to another. We also may see agencies kind of conglomerating, coming together. We may see agencies being like more united, and then a director within an agency overseeing perhaps a larger team than before with different units, etc. Those are some of the organizational changes that I can see DOGE making to the United States bureaucracy. But large scale, like massive reductions, which is what I think some Republicans and conservatives may want, may prove very difficult. You got to remember, and I don't know the insides and outs of the US bureaucracy, but I can imagine that there's a lot of unionized workers, those that are, that have a very specific labor rules governing their employment. And if DOGE does come in and does like this fell swoop of cutting federal bureaucrats left, right, and center, they may find themselves in court battling those decisions. In some cases, given the court system and Donald Trump, they may end up losing, and they may spend the next 4 years in courts battling as a result. So instead of that, what I do see are less agencies, maybe a combining of agencies, and just natural attrition, people leaving the workforce because of retirements. So we'll see less federal workers, and we'll probably also see a shift from, departments of environment and climate change to national defense and even border security as well. The second point I have when it comes to both Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy is we have to remember that these are also businessmen and they have business interests. Now, I'm not saying that they're going to come into DOGE and just basically, make their own pockets richer, but I can't understate that their business dealings have played an impact, not only in their worldview, but also they probably see an opportunity to work with government to potentially benefit their own businesses. Now, I hope that isn't the case, and I hope nepotism, corruption, etc., doesn't happen. But it's not beyond me to say that, hey, Elon Musk, some rich, uh, you know, manufacturer, supplier of Tesla can suddenly say, hey, congratulations on that DOGE appointment. Let me take you out for steak dinner, kind of thing. Now, I'm not trying to be facetious here, but we have to remember that Tesla, for example, benefited largely from government programs. Now, I understand that Tesla did pay this money back, but in 2010, it receives a $465 million loan from the Department of Energy, part of its Advanced Tech Vehicles Manufacturing Loan Program. As well, SpaceX has benefited from government contracts, including funding through the Commercial Crew Program to develop the Crew Dragon spacecraft. As well, SpaceX has a lucrative contract with the Department of Defense, as I mentioned, for launching satellites and other space-related projects. So these have helped SpaceX fund its ambitious projects. And I can imagine when it comes to DOGE, Elon Musk has a vested interest to make sure those dealings continue and they're perhaps not touched as much as perhaps other agencies are. Of course, there's tax credits as well. SolarCity benefited from a 30% federal tax credit on solar installations, and it took advantage of various state level tax credits as well for renewable energy projects. Vivek Ramaswamy, as the founder of Roivant Sciences, also benefited from FDA designations, the fast track and breakthrough therapy designations, which helped expedite the development and review process of drugs. Also, pharmaceutical companies, including Roivant, benefited from federal research and development tax credits, providing tax relief on the significant expenses with drug research. These all indicate that some of the rhetoric that both Elon and Vivek have shared may run in conflict to the Department of Government Efficiency. The theme of shutting down the regulatory state is something that both have kind of professed or talked about to some degree, discussing that the bureaucracy has more overreach now than before. It adds a sense of revolutionary zeal to kind of rein all of these in, but it also talks specifically about the government being inherently corrupting and oppressive. But we have to remember that both Vivek and Elon, through their separate business ventures, have benefited from not only government subsidies and grants, but they've relied on the bureaucracy to help their corporations do incredible things. And so sometimes you wonder a little bit about what kind of influences will both put forward onto the bureaucracy. I can see both not touching the bureaucratic areas that deal specifically with their business ventures. And in a way, isn't that in itself a bit corrupting of the state? Now, I don't want to be all doom and gloom with Vivek and Elon, because I do think that there is something to be said about reining in a bloated bureaucracy. I'm just a little bit more worried about the ideology behind that being, okay, we're just going to come in and slash because there's an ideology here where the federal government has gotten too bloated and we need to come in and make drastic cuts to the federal government. Again, like I said, I think that's going to be held up in attrition as well as in the courts, because I don't think they can actually do that. There might be some combining of agencies and others, but I do think Elon and Vivek actually do have an interest to keep specific government bureaucracies fully functioning so that their businesses can continue to benefit from further government tax breaks and subsidies, specifically for innovation and innovative things that they're doing. As well, they also don't benefit from increased competition from China. So I would also see them as exerting more influence onto the White House to making sure that China and other countries don't set up shop in the United States. Tried to do that with one take, damn it. Set up shop in the United States and provide more competition to Tesla, for example. And so again, while I think that the aim may be very good, I think the practice of it will be very challenging as well. I do think there is the possibility for corruption, nepotism, making sure that their industries are taken care of, shifting the government to more national defense and security. These are concerns that I think we as civil society, specifically conservatives and Republicans, should remind ourselves when undertaking DOGE. It's a great idea on paper, but we can't deny that this still provides some form of critique that we'll have to keep on to Donald Trump and the Trump administration. We want to make sure that the government is in fact functioning and the bureaucracy is not bloated and is affecting change by working for the American people. But we also have to remember the people at the helm that are leading this charge also have vested interests themselves. But that'll do it for me on this video. Let me know what you think about this, and what do you think about DOGE? Do you think the points that I've raised are valid? What do you think? Let me know in the comment section below. Thanks again, everyone, and remember, like, share, subscribe, tell all your friends. My name's Christopher, the host of the Open Minds Show right here on YouTube.